In this video, we're going to take apart Draymond Green. We're going straight for him. Now, Draymond Green, four-time NBA champion, former Defensive Player of the Year, the fiery heart of a dynasty. He has the hardware and the defensive reputation. But what if it's all a carefully constructed illusion? What if the championships, the All-Star games, the Hall of Fame chatter is built on a specific set of circumstances? What if the player we see as a revolutionary force is actually the most replaceable piece of the Golden State dynasty? The evidence is pretty damning. Without the gravity of the two greatest shooters of all time, Draymond Green isn't a leader. He's a role player. This is the story of how the NBA's loudest warrior might just be a product of his environment, a system player whose legacy has been propped up by the greatness of others. Now, let's be fair. The case for Draymond is written in big, bold letters. You can't tell the story of the last dance of... Now, let's be fair. The case for Draymond is written in big, bold letters. You can't tell the story of the last decade of basketball without him. He's the defensive anchor, the on-court general, and the emotional engine that makes the Warriors go. His basketball IQ is praised by a lot of people, from teammates to his biggest rivals. He's a Defensive Player of the Year winner, a constant on all defensive teams, and the key that unlocks the Warriors' death lineup by guarding all five positions. Now, he can snag a rebound, push the break, and find Steph or Klay with a perfect pass right as they're curling off a screen. He does the dirty work, sets the hard screens, and makes the pass before the pass. In today's NBA, where versatility is everything, Draymond looks like royalty, people. His fans will point to his leadership, his fire, and the simple fact that winning follows him. He is, by all accounts, a champion. But that's the accepted story. Is it the whole story? Now, because when you strip away the context, when you take away the generational superstars flanking him, a very different picture of Draymond Green starts to take shape. To see it clearly, we only need to look at one disastrous NBA season that revealed what kind of a player he really is. The 2019-2020 NBA season. After the 2019 finals, KD left for Brooklyn. Klay Thompson was out for the year with a torn ACL. And just a few games in, Steph Curry broke his hand, sidelining him for almost the entire season. He only played 5 games. For the first time, the stage was all Draymond's. This was his chance to prove he was more than a sidekick. This was his team. The result? An absolute train wreck. The Golden State Warriors, the dynasty that defined the 2010s, finished with the worst record in the league at 15 wins and 50 losses. With the offense now supposedly running through him, Draymond had every chance to step up. He had the minutes and the opportunity. The production, however, was nowhere to be found. He averaged a measly 8 points per game. Think about that. The supposed leader of the team, the main playmaker, couldn't even crack double digits in a season that he was supposed to be the main guy. His shooting was atrocious. Just 38.9% from the field and a painful 27.9% from three. The Warriors' offense, once a beautiful symphony of ball movement, collapsed into the 30th ranked offense in the league. The truth is, Draymond Green isn't an offensive threat by himself. He's a facilitator, but one who needs cheat codes to be effective. His entire offensive game is based on the 4-on-3 advantage created when defensives sell out to stop Steph Curry 35 feet from the hoop. Take away that gravitational pull and Draymond's playmaking disappears. The passing lanes get smaller. His lack of a jump shot lets defenders completely ignore him, packing the paint and daring him to shoot. He can't create his own shot. He can't consistently break down a defender, and he certainly can't carry an offensive load. Not even close. His career numbers without Curry tell the tale. In 128 games without Steph, Draymond averages 8 points a game, and his team's winning percentage craters. The stats don't lie. When he's supposed to be the guy, he's not just average on offense. He's a liability. Now think about it. He was considered for the Defensive Player of the Year almost every season. He won it, he was second, he was fifth, and so on, every season in the running. He was an All-NBA defensive team 9 times. But that season that I mentioned, the 2019-20 season, when Klay and Curry were not there, he didn't even achieve any of that. He wasn't mentioned and in the running for DPOY. He didn't make the NBA defensive first or second team for that matter. Without his main 2 stars, Draymond even sucks on defense. We're going past the hot takes to break down what the film and the numbers actually tell us. If you appreciate that kind of deep dive analysis, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. We're building a community for fans who want to understand the game on a real level and who like listening to the truth. Now, let's get back to Draymond. Draymond is the ultimate system player. This all leads to the core of the argument. Draymond Green is maybe the greatest system player the league has ever seen. That's not necessarily an insult. Every player needs a system that fits their skills. But for Draymond, that system isn't just a bonus, it's a lifeline for this guy. The Warriors' motion offense, built on the unparalleled shooting and movement of Curry and Thompson, is the perfect habitat for him. It doesn't ask him to score, it lets him be a hub in the middle of the floor, using his vision to hit shooters who are already open. His greatest skill, passing, is cranked up to the absolute maximum, even though he averages like 5 to 6 assists a game. Now picture Draymond on a different team, let's say the mid-tier Orlando Magic from that same era. A team built around the traditional big like Nikola Vucevic, and slashers who need space. How does Draymond help there? He can't space the floor, his defender would just clog the lane, making it tougher for guys like Aaron Gordon to drive. His passing would still be there, but the windows would be tiny. Instead of hitting a wide open Klay or Curry, he'd be trying to thread a needle to Evan Fournier in traffic. His value would plummet. His defensive versatility is elite, they say. But even that skill is maximized in the Warriors' ecosystem. In that 2019-20 season, with Draymond as the defensive captain of a sinking ship, the Warriors' defense was ranked 26th in the league. The year before, with a healthy squad, they were in the top half of the league. The year they won 73 games, they were a top 5 unit. Turns out it's a lot easier to be a defensive genius when you're communicating with veterans like Andre Iguodala and Klay Thompson. And when your offense is so good it demoralizes the other team. When he had to anchor a defense of young, unproven players, his impact wasn't nearly enough to keep him from drowning. Is he a leader or liability? Finally, there's the leadership, the fire, the famous intensity. When you're winning titles, it's called passion. He's the heartbeat of a champion, they say. But what happens when you're losing? What happened during that 15-win season? Suddenly, that same fiery personality doesn't look like leadership anymore. It looks like frustration. It can even look toxic. We've all seen the highlights, and they're not good. The shouting match with Kevin Durant, the arguments with Steve Kerr, the infamous punch on Jordan Poole. When the Warriors are on top of the world, these incidents are just Draymond being Draymond. But when you're the captain of a 15-win team, that behavior isn't inspiring, it's draining. Real leadership is about elevating guys during tough times. In his one real test as the undisputed alpha, his team fell apart. His brand of leadership didn't lead to wins, better morale, or player development. It forces a tough question. Is Draymond Green a true leader, or is he a passionate role player whose abrasive style is only tolerated because it's balanced by calm, low-ego presence of a superstar like Steph Curry? It's fair to wonder if that intensity would burn most other locker rooms to the ground. Now, the immediate comeback is obvious. Look at the rings. 4 of them. You can't argue with the rings. It's true, the rings are real, and they even won another one in 2022, after that disastrous season. But team success isn't a simple measure of individual greatness. Robert Horry has 7 rings. Is he better than Charles Barkley? Steve Kerr has a case full of rings as a player and coach. Was he better player than Patrick Ewing? Winning is a team accomplishment, and context is king. Draymond Green won his titles alongside the greatest shooter ever, another top 5 shooter ever, and for 3 of those runs, one of the most gifted scorers in NBA history, Kevin Durant. To ignore that context is to ignore reality. His winning record isn't just his record. It's the Warriors' record, built on a foundation of transcendent offensive talent that perfectly hid his biggest flaws. So where does that leave us? Is Draymond Green the most overrated player in NBA history? Overrated just means there is a gap between perception and reality. And the perception Draymond is that he's a defensive savant, a culture changer, and a winner who can transform any team. Unfortunately, the reality is that he is a defensive savant for this era, but one whose offensive game is so limited that he can't power a decent offense on his own. He is a champion, yes, but one whose success is completely tied to playing with a historic collection of offensive talent. His total inability to lift a team by himself, proven by the 2019-20 season, is that smoking gun. While his defense and basketball IQ are really good, his complete dependence on a very specific once-in-a-generation environment to be effective on offense means he isn't the standalone force many believe him to be. He is a phenomenal Hall of Fame caliber role player. Maybe the greatest role player of his generation. But he's not the transcendent star his resume implies. And he's not a guy who could lead another franchise to a title. He was the perfect piece in a perfect machine, but when you take the machine away, you're just left with a piece. But that's my breakdown of the evidence. What do you guys think? Is Draymond a system player? Or is he a true superstar who's been unfairly criticized? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and I'll read them all. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like and subscribe for more deep dives like this that go beyond the headlines. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.